What's up, you guys? So, can you hear this music playing? I've never used this customization. All right, I'm gonna take that down now. I just thought it was beautiful and peaceful. Just give us a moment to kind of, take a deep breath, clear our minds. This is a lot of heavy stuff that we've been going over, a lot. And, whether you realize it or not, when you get so raveled up into a case that's this sad and has so many different webs and roads and leads and people, just so many different things, we really have to take a moment to remember to take a deep breath, just a moment of peace. All right. So how is everyone this evening? Well, a little bit afternoon, I suppose, for me. Howdy, you all. Hope you're doing well. I wanted to clarify a few things. First of all, if anyone has any serious evidence, like if you live locally and you have something that is going to help to solve Kiely's case, of course, I would want you to send that straight to law enforcement. But if there is something that you've been trying to send to me or another creator, something that, we can use to try and help, then yeah, send it to the email that I shared with you all yesterday. I just wanted to clarify that. I figured that anyone with a little bit of knowledge on, crime, that you would know what would be needed to, what you need to send to law enforcement and what would be okay to send to a YouTube creator. But I guess, there are those times when you have to clarify those things. So that's what I'm doing here. Secondly, I've found a few new things. Sav Girl had put out a TikTok, and I've just grabbed a couple screenshots to show you guys. I feel like this TikTok, like the location of her car, it looks exactly like the location that right here, where her car is parked right up here in this clearing, right beside those trees. Here's where it shows in the TikTok. And somebody had said that photo was actually taken when someone was driving through. I just find that to be odd, just really odd. I don't know, what you guys are thinking. I know that this photo or this TikTok can be proved that it was taken that night. There's the date, 8/6. I don't know, for sure. I'm going to try to compare a little bit more, look at that area, go to Google Maps, try to pinpoint it a little bit more, looking at the video, but there's not a lot from that TikTok. The other thing I wanted to clarify is this TikTok that I had saw another creator put out, and they stated that this is Nate and Sammy. Well, I done just a very small amount of investigating to find out that it is not Nate. Apparently, it is a boy that goes by the name of Cody. You can find that out by simply just looking in the comments. So that's what I did. I don't want to put out, someone else's name to someone else's face. I just don't find that to be very, very professional or very polite. And there's been a lot of that. Okay. And then we have the finding that David Cuneo is a Sacramento officer. He works in the Sacramento PD or the Sacramento County Sheriff's Department. And some are saying that is Kate Cuneo's father. I need to do some more digging into that before I state that as a fact. I've not seen anyone prove that. But I did find Sammy's TikTok, and there are no TikToks of her and Nate or her and Kiely or anyone really, just people she goes to school with, I guess. Nonetheless, you can get an idea of who Sammy is, I suppose. But I wanted to clarify because I had seen that when that creator put that out, and I thought, wow, this is really important. Look how they're acting together. But it is not Nate. It's another young boy. He's of age, I'm assuming, since they're all the same age. But let's see. It says you might want to check a channel that had Kiely's dad was on location of the car was. Corrine, I think you're talking about the Grizzlies true crime. Are you talking about when Check It TV was on there and so was AWP, and Daniel was supposed to have been there at that time, which I didn't see Daniel, and Check It TV, he was he went to his vehicle, and it was a little strange. But that's another thing I wanted to touch on. A lot of people are stating that this is fake, that all that evidence that was found out there was planted or faked somehow. I don't know that to be true. And I wonder if this isn't just a PR move for Ryan UpChurch, because he needed an out. He needed a way to save himself from, what he's done in this case. He done something crazy that brought a lot of attention to himself, and then he needed an out. And, Check It TV, I think he was nervous. I don't know that he has done a lot of interviews with larger YouTubers, but some people look at YouTubers like they're movie stars or something. He could have just been simply nervous. I mean, I wonder if that's not what's happening here. I wanted to touch on it since everyone was talking about it. It's just that I have a different view on it. I'm not 100% set that, it's some weird thing. I don't really trust the SF Investigates guy. No, I don't. I've seen a lot of sketchy stuff come out of that camp. But Check It TV, so far what I've seen from him is him getting out and really trying to help with this case. I'm hoping it's for the good of Kiely. I'm hoping it's to help with her case and not for just attention and views and clout. But at the same time, when people are growing their channels, that's another part of it, I guess. See, the evidence is being confirmed as her. Right. Okay. Yeah. And I know I saw on there, I just kind of wanted to talk about this generation and the things they like and the things they watch. Because my husband and I, we always try our best to stay relevant. And when I say that, I mean, we keep up with what is going on because our child's going to be of age one day, and she's going to be watching and consuming these creators and this stuff. On her computer, there was different stickers. One of them said Virginity Rocks, and that is Danny Duncan. He is a large creator. He puts out some funny content, and that just gives me a better idea of what Kiely's personality was most likely like. I'm sure she was fun and adventurous. All the things that I've heard people say about her, not necessarily people who should have known her all that well, because we've mostly heard from Sammy, who was just a short-time friend. Okay, let's see. There's the same person. Same team. So you're saying that Check It TV is SF Investigates? I've heard that too. That's pretty weird. Yeah. See, he told everyone to stay out of the water because FBI said no one else can in after he did. Okay, so see, that's the issue. That is something I do find issue with. In all the cases that we've ever looked at, think about the people who want to, be important, I guess, or look important. It is odd. It's pretty odd. And then like trying to make yourself seem as important as an investigator or law enforcement, that's extremely alarming. Yeah, that's pretty strange. I was going to go and look at another video with you guys, but I think I'm just going to link it on the community page for you guys to watch. I'm sure you probably already watched it and heard enough about the whole possibility that it could be faked somehow. I don't know about you guys, but in the Grizzly True Crime interview that he done, I felt that he was comparing himself to AWP and what they done. They found Kiely. They found Kiely in her car. That was like the biggest find in this case. That was Kiely. That was this baby girl who lost her life. And I'm pretty sure that it was due to someone else's hands. And it seems to be an extremely terrible story. The more that we look into it, the more that we find out, the more that we hear, it almost makes this sound like some type of pre-planned, well thought out, just awful scenario for this poor girl. I mean, think about it. She was only 16 years old, you guys. All of these other kids were 18 plus mostly, and some older. Some of the people there were much older. I mean, we do have proof that there was a party now, but we've got so many missing pieces. My biggest question is if what Sammy said, if anything that Sammy said was true in any of her interviews that she did anywhere, who were the two people in the car? Who were they? And was there two people? Was there just one person? Was there two people? If I could ask her anything, that would be my question. Who else was in the car? Another thing that's being questioned is if Kiely didn't pass away that night, if this didn't happen to her that night, instead, later on, I believe something happened to her that night. I don't know that, that she completely lost life that night. But something happened that night at the party. Just the location of her car, the weird photos, just by taking my time and looking at these photos, clearing them up and trying to figure out where this is on the map. That has helped me a lot into figuring out just like that photo. It looks like the guy with the flat billed hat may have something in his arms cradled. What if that is the case? What if that was happening? And all those kids were there. All of their parents told them to keep quiet. Now, if you look at the surnames of the Truckee graduates from this last graduation, it would seem that a lot of their last names, there's a lot of law enforcement in the local area with the same exact last names. I take you back to this one more time. Is this Kate's dad? But from what I was told, Kate wasn't at the party. Or was she at the party? We don't know. There's just so many questions. And I think that I personally am going to step back and try to learn more, try to dive in deeper, try to figure out more information before I do another live with you guys or video. Because to me, I don't need to be on here every day or every night. That's not what this is about. This is about trying to actually figure something out for Kiely, for her family. It's about trying to resolve this. It's about trying to bring justice for Kiely. I have been saying from the very beginning, a lot of people did not agree with me, that this was most likely foul play and that I felt that it was a possible cover-up as well. And now I know, a lot of people thought that at the same time. But before, there was a lot of questions about it being an accident. Now, I don't really hear anyone saying anything about anything accidental. We had Nick, the tow truck driver, and he had some questionable behavior, but that doesn't make him guilty. I mean, I'm sure he would be nervous. In my opinion, I've been really, really, really trying to just clear my mind and focus on things and think this through. You know, what if Nick was called in like we all had assumed and he was used to be part of the cover-up? What if he covered up something, you know, relating to her car without realizing what he was covering up? And then once he had found out that Kiely was missing, he realized that something nefarious happened that day. He realized that there was more to the story, that they involved him in this. They involved him possibly. What if that's the case? What if it wasn't him? You know, that's just the problem though. There's so much speculation and so many questions. I don't feel that we have a full grasp yet. We keep getting new pieces, new answers, but we still don't know very much. The police are saying they're not going to tell us nothing until November the 1st. And most likely they need the time to investigate. But just like with everybody else involved in this story, they have a really, really shady past. They have done some absolutely terrible things in the past. When I'm talking about the Placer Sheriff's Department specifically and the former sheriff. But it just gives you an idea that there is a web of crooked ass law enforcement out there. And that to me means that it's most likely spread across many, many agencies, probably not just Placer. It's just that they have been found out. I'm going to read a few of your comments real quickly. The family was directly called of the evidence. Yes, I reckon that he gave the evidence, the things that he found. I reckon he gave all of that stuff to the grandpa, possibly. I know he had called the police out, and I from what I understood, they did not take the evidence. Instead, I guess the grandpa got it, and I guess SF Investigates is going to be doing something with it. I don't know. That's just what I have heard. Well, hello, everyone. Let's see. Problem is too much information on what we think we understand from the time it started to the present, but we are not looking at the background, not enough. Exactly. And I don't feel comfortable coming on every day and trying to give you a short, roundabout explanation of who these people are without doing the full work, you know. I want to actually be sure of who I'm talking about. Family isn't getting any more information than we are. Right. Can you imagine? I don't imagine that they want to be constantly upset, sad, and depressed. I mean, and I know that they are. But yeah, I mean, are law enforcement not giving them any information at all? They're not being kept up to date. Could you imagine being her mom It's really sad. It is. SF met Checkett while investigating before she was right. I understood that they had met up when AWP was there the day that she was found. I was watching one of the videos that Checkett had put out where he was searching the banks, and in that he made sure to tell us where he met all of these different people, allegedly. I believe I should have a few other things here that I wanted to share with you guys. I uploaded so many different screen grabs. Let's see. See, this is something that Justin had brought to my attention. You know, I I was said it was said that she had the Life 360 app and it was turned off, right? Her phone was turned off or destroyed or something. We don't even know if the phone was in the car. We don't know if the phone's in the lake. None of that. And that's something I feel that law enforcement really should have clarified, because if it's still missing, then the lake needs to be searched. That phone could play a big role. But at the same time, as long as her computer is soaked, but there are ways for them to go back and clean it up and try to review what's on it, right? The hard drive, all of that. The computer, if it was connected to the same Apple ID, it could have that same information. They could retrieve her last phone conversations, text, and so on, possibly. Let's see, that was her. Okay. Then he had sent this, which I cannot see very well here. We'll go over that the next time that I come on. I would see. And then he sent this. Let's see, Sleuthy. Just saw this on Facebook. Tammy and law enforcement that is family to her friends. Right, which is what we've been talking about all along. The fact that it seemed as if there were children who were probably at the party. I'm calling them children. They were what California and most states would consider adults. But all the last names at the party, a lot of them go back to law enforcement. And it's making it really hard to be able to single out who would have been the nephew, who would have been the son. You know, we've heard about all the girls at the party, but it seems as if it was purposely left out. Who were the males at the party? Who were these boys? Now, there's only one male that I could think of that Sammy would want to cover for, and it being that it was her past, love interest, and Kylie's current. Of course, she's not going to bring that up, I wouldn't imagine. I don't know if any of you would like to speak about anything. If there's anything on your minds, you're welcome to come up, as long as it's not vulgar, nasty, or anything that would disrespect her legacy, her memory, her family. This case is really sad, and almost it seems as if people are becoming just completely reckless, and they've lost sight of the fact that she is a real person that lived on this earth, that had a real life. She had so much talent, and it's extremely sad. See, switching to team accident now because it is against the public perception. That's weird. There's no way you could call this an accident. And just that alone just kind of does make me get creepy vibes. Why would they want this to look like an accident? Why would they want to make everybody look down that route? Hold on, I have a few more things here. Yeah, that was important. Give me one moment. I'm going to upload this photo real quick before I'm not going to stay on very long. We have a birthday party we have to take Sadie to, and the times have been changed a bunch today because of the weather. I'm just trying to give you all an overall, outlook on what I feel is important, and just to kind of express that between each live, I think there has to be time for a person to gather the report, to gather the information, so you're not just on here just putting out anything. I don't want to be reckless in my coverage. Let's see, I can't get this out of my head, but what if the cover-up is not about Kiely, but I think there was another person in the car, and maybe that person is the reason for the cover-up? See, that's the thing. There's just so many, hold on. All right, sorry about that. Now let me show you this photo, because I do know that this came from part of that evidence that Checkett had shown that he found, his second find. I don't know what you all think about it. I just wonder if this has that same little tag on it, though. But there is a male that was at the party, and then his beanie a beanie that appears to be similar happens to be found in the lake with her belongings. Do you all think that this is important? I do. But then again, I don't know. I don't see the little tag on there that would be the brand. Lorianne's point. Let's see. Yeah, Lorianne, you do make a really good point. All of these things are possible. I do happen to feel that the same people we've been talking about are the most important people in this case. I think that Sammy, Nate, I think Nick the tow truck driver, but not because I think it's him, but because I think that he was purposely used to cover something up. That's what I think. But it's a lot of thinking and this and that, right? That's how we get to the answers. It is. But it's also important that we just take our time and breathe. You don't have to put out a bunch of different lives every day. You don't have to be reckless in that. You don't. Take your time and make sure you're doing justice for this little girl and her family. Make sure you're not making mistakes. Think of other people, you know? See, not wanting to find the I do feel that that's what this could be. That sounds to me like he could not be wanting to find the answers. I find it weird that he was crying over a laptop, or fake crying in a weird way. I find it weird how he was acting on panel on the Grizzlies True Crime with AWP. He was comparing himself almost to Nick in a weird way, I felt. I do feel that it's weird. I'm not sure why. I don't know. I don't want to point fingers at another random person that's just covering things. I mean, but maybe that's why police didn't take the evidence. Maybe that is why. See, Paceless, you always make some good points, and they're usually set different from mine, and I like that because it opens my mind up to new things, to new ideas. Well, then you couldn't say anything yet because we know absolutely nothing for sure. Now it's all speculation, and to say 100% no accident is I just don't feel that it could be an accident considering. I mean, we saw that the seatbelts were messed with in the back, which would prevent her from floating. We saw that she was most likely not wearing any clothing. And it's sad and it's so odd. All of this put together, it screams not accident. You know, it screams not accident. And regardless, if something happened that was an accident, and she lost her, say it was the fentanyl thing, which is another weird aspect to this because apparently there was a Venmo purchase on Sammy's device, and that was, I guess, the reason she was called in or something, and she lawyered up is what I've heard. And she made sure to tell us over and over that they drink swapped, that they tried each other's drinks. To me, did somebody put something that could have possibly had fentanyl in it in her drink and she drank it, and that's how we got here? Was this pre-planned? We don't know. So all I want to do is look at the facts exactly and give this a little bit of time. I think that's extremely important. As soon as I find something that I feel is really important to bring to you guys, I will. And if, like I stated, if there's something that you guys do want to share with me, you can. I posted that email in last night's live, and it's safe. You cannot be hacked or anything. It's embedded. But yeah, I just want people to remember that Kiely is a person and her life matters. Her existence on this earth matters. She was so talented in so many ways. And just trying to get an idea of who she was by looking at her belongings, her stickers, the bands that she liked, the clothing brands that she liked and wore. Another thing I want to bring to your attention, why do you think she was homeschooled and she didn't go to Truckee? Why do you think she wasn't attending school with these kids? Was she ever bullied, I wonder? I wonder if they ever bullied her over her teeth. I know that she had gotten braces and her teeth were all fixed and beautiful, But I wonder if kids were really mean to her at some point. Bullies can cause that for kids to go on homeschool. Maybe the parents thought that was the best decision. Then again, it's probably got a lot to do with where she was way up in those hills, and it would be hard for her to get out to school every morning, I would say. Let's see. DS says the evidence that was found was also seen in the video from, yeah, it could be seen in the car, 100%. And they've outgot law not making evidence priority. Right. So this goes back to law enforcement not wanting to do their job. Looks like the hat shrunk because it was in the water too long. Yeah, I really don't know how that works, to be honest, with materials in water and for how long it would, take something like that to happen. I know if the water was hot and there was a lot of heat, it does appear that there was like some sun damage to it. So that tells you about how long it was in there. So thinking about how long her car's been removed, how long it would have been out there on its own. I guess that's possible, yeah. See, her teeth were not that bad before the braces, in my opinion. Well, I don't think so either. I think she's a beautiful girl. But I did see a photo. You know the photo that Ryan and everybody's been talking about? Well, I saw a photo that made it look like she had like an overlapping. And I had friends growing up that had that going on. And I think they have to take chains and pull those down. And I wonder that isn't what caused this whole mess. I just wonder if she was bullied. And if these were her bullies and she thought that they were going to be nice to her, she thought that things had changed maybe because she's grown into this beautiful woman. She's always been beautiful. But do you think that was part of it? Do you think this was like a nasty prank by a bunch of bullies? It's very possible. And being impaired could explain a lot. Paceless, I don't know. I just don't see this being an accident whatsoever. But I do respect your ideas and your thoughts and your point of view. See, she sure had she had a voice of the angel, an absolute voice of an angel. Every time I listened to her singing those different songs, and even from the time she was like 6 years old, she just could sing like I don't know. It's beautiful. She was so talented, and this is just an absolute tragedy. And law enforcement being like they are, and then just so many weird people involved and so many like partial stories given, and it's like they're holding back. Some families have values about how they want certain yeah, they do, Corrine. That's true. Maybe she was on homeschool, yeah, because they just felt that it was safer for her and that she would get a better education, because it did seem that they invested in Kiely. You can see that they took the time to make sure she could learn different things, playing different instruments. Just so much. Let's see. Somebody sent me something here real quick. Let's see if it's. Yeah, it's coming up. Give me just a moment, you guys. Okay, let me pull this up and see what it is. All right. Let me screenshot this real quick to share with you guys. I just keep getting sicker and sicker. Most likely, I'll probably sit in the car at the party tonight. All right, let me share this with you guys. That's something I want to point out too. I think I should have already had that one uploaded, but. Oh, and I forgot to talk about that as well. Do you guys remember going back to those interviews that Sammy did with Tony and with Ickadmouth, how she herself verified that law enforcement and the FBI had said this was not Kiely's bodysuit, her black bodysuit? When I look at this, to me, it almost appears that it really could have been the black bodysuit she was wearing. It looks like the right material. It looks like enough material. I just go back to this and I wonder, who really verified anything about this? Because the only person that I heard was Sammy. I think that's a question that we should still have. Now, looking back at this photo here, there's the hat, right? Who is this young gentleman here beside of Kiely in this photo? And this is the photo that I was talking about with her teeth. It looks like they had to be aligned, which is not a bad thing in any way. But it was just something that I thought maybe we should talk about. People wanted to act like she was like made up by weird other pictures and like that she wasn't a real human. And right here she is. She's absolutely real. And I feel that the things that they talked about are just kind of disgusting. Because as a woman, I know what it's like to have things that you feel self-conscious about. And you don't want some famous person pointing those out in a way to make you sound like you're not a real living human being. I mean, yes, she's passed on now, but she was here before. She has made an impact on this world just as you and I will. We all will make our impact. Now, this is the last thing that Justin sent to me, and I'm going to give him an opportunity. Let's see here. Ashwin Singh. For past participants that didn't go to graduate due to pandemic, can we show up the last day for pizza? Individuals, 18 locations, Asian Pacific, Islander cohort, Black African cohort. The local police department. This program will provide individuals with valuable information, resources, and mentorship in law enforcement career. So it's like they're trying to bring this new generation into their law enforcement. See, talented family that raised a beautiful girl, very close-knit family. This is such a shame. The world really missed out. Yeah, I would imagine so. She just lights up. Every photo she's in, she's the first person that I look at. Every single photo that she's in. She seems like just from, just from what I've been able to gather, the videos of her and her mom walking the dog out, and she has her cell phone in her hand. She just seems like she loves her family. And then you see her different stickers and bands and her clothing tastes and all of that. And it just makes you think she was probably so much fun, so much light to be around. And a lot of times other girls cannot handle that. Jealousy runs rampant when there's someone that actually stands out because they're talented and different and caring and beautiful from the inside out. To me, I've said this from the beginning, I felt jealousy from that whole situation. And I'm not even sure that Mags and Kiely were all the best of friends. I know they had been friends longer, much longer, but I don't know that they were like super close. In my very honest opinion, I think that Kate Kuno was her closest friend. From what I understand, Kate wasn't supposed to be at the party and Jagger was in Reno. But where was Nick? Not Nick, but Nate. And where was Nick, the tow truck driver? Because maybe I'm wrong on that. He could have possibly been there as well. But we'll eventually figure out more. Let's see, that the spaghetti strap top has thin straps. Right. That's what I would imagine. And this seems to have. Oh, you're saying that the photo, like her original photo, that it had thinner straps. Let me try to go back and see if I still have that photo up. It was one of the first ones I put on here, I believe. I don't see it. But I'll find it and then I'll try to put the two side by side so that we can compare the next time that I come on. But I just want to take you back to remembering this, If Nick, the tow truck driver, if he was telling the honest truth, and whether he was brought in to be involved in this, like as part of a cover-up, whatever the situation, when he described the male, this is what he described. He described the hair coming out, just a black hat, which I've also got a photo of this Nate wearing a black SF hat. Before, I thought that Nick was trying his best to describe Jagger from what he was wearing on the news, but it doesn't appear that way. Here it is. There he is in the SF hat. Super important. See, I think she got caught up in a crowd that night, maybe got taken advantage of another. Well, the clothing thing would definitely point to something absolutely awful. Yes. And it's so heartbreaking to think of that being her last moments. Yeah, also wearing a bro tank, and well, what's he wearing here? He's wearing a bro tank. And I know Armando, if he was here, if he was watching this, and when he watches later, he's going to say to me, what about the police? What about the police? Don't think I haven't forgotten about the police. Don't think I'm not watching every single bit of the Project Veritas YouTube channels, all their videos. I am trying to see if there's anything that would be in relation to this, like something that can be some meat on those bones, just to say that information links to this, I mean, and it could link to it. I would say Kiely would be a fighter. I mean, I'm sure all of you would as well, but we're not going to know if she fought this person back or not until November the 1st. We do have a photo of someone that was at the party, someone that seems extremely suspicious. And I showed you guys this yesterday. Let me see if I can find it here. I know I had it pulled up. I've just uploaded so many different photos to show you guys. It makes it difficult. There it is. So in this very, very photo here, you can see that there are bruises being purposely covered up with that white paint. And they're not just on her legs. They're in many locations on her body. And it's like, find the paint and you'll find the bruises. I think we definitely know who to be looking at, but I believe there's just more to it. And it would seem that most of everyone else feels the same way. I think this is super sinister. It could be anything at this point, though. I heard this one guy saying, what if this is like some type of satanic thing? And as insane as that sounds, we don't know that it wasn't. We don't know that. We have no way to say absolutely not. We don't have any way to say that yet at all. And I mean, we're early in the case, truly. This case has developed online in a lot of ways, more so than any other case I've ever seen. And for whatever reason, people are in such a hurry. And I have to tell you that when you are in a hurry, you overlook very important things. When you are in a hurry, you will not pay attention to the proper things. You have to take your time. Tasteless, I'm not saying that. It's just, how can you think it's an accident with the seatbelts like trapping her in the back and no clothing? How is that? Did she do that to herself? I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful to anyone's thoughts or opinions. It's just, I don't see how anyone could try to pin this as an accident. And to me, if they are, that's alarming. I think of situations back when I was a kid. She was homeschooled, probably wanted to go along with the crowd, and was easily manipulated. Absolutely, where she wasn't around kids all the time, she was probably up to do anything. Sheriff caught sleeping with underage. Right, bubbles. That is what I'm saying. I mean, I just don't know, was the sheriff there? I don't think so. I'm saying I would not doubt what they wouldn't cover this up 100%. It's just that I don't know that this is like the sheriff doing this. I mean, Sheriff Moon is no longer the sheriff either. But, of course, you still have to look at that department and say, what else would they do? What else will they do? And aside from that, you've got to look at the surrounding agencies of law enforcement. They would most likely have known the sketchy stuff that was going on with Placer and never did anything about it. That right there tells you a lot. That means that a lot of them are probably in situations they should not be, doing things they should not be doing, possibly making money ways they definitely should not be making money. I saw a report that showed, what was it, 100,000 people in that area of California lost their lives last year to fentanyl overdose. Is that what it was? Don't quote me on this, because the number, this is just an idea. This is what I believe that the number was. It wasn't. Was it 10,000? I think it might have been 10,000. I know it started with the one and it had a lot of zeros, but so around 10,000 people, possibly, approximately, I guess I could say, lost their lives last year to fentanyl. This fentanyl situation is out of control. And then you got the law enforcement and all the stuff that they've been doing out there. And nobody on this side of the world, I know for a fact, knew anything about Placer County or knew about, Project Veritas and the fact that happened. When this case first came out and she was missing, things just slowly started to slip out. We just slowly started to learn all this information. That's the problem. There are so many distractions, so many possibilities. And it's, is law enforcement, like, can we trust them to fully do their job? I don't know. But I know that on this side of the world, I'm going to be looking over everything, and I'm going to do my very best to ensure that this is not swept under the rug. I'm going to do my very best to figure out how we can do things for Kiely, for her memory. And that's all I've got at this moment. I've got the evidence that we have. I've got the connections that we have found. I've got the picture of the car that we worked on, the person that's in that photo, and then now this new TikTok. It looks to me that that's the same exact spot. And I'm going to try to speak with Zav Girl about that and see what she thinks.
Related deaths in 2020 was right at 4,000.
4,000 in 2020? And was it 10,000 in 2021? I wonder. I'm pretty sure it was. But that's a huge number of people. That's so many lives. Every life is important. Every life is valuable. And to devalue another person's life, and it's just sickening. It's just disgusting. And I've seen a lot of that happening. See, look, I mean, it's different, like a different view of it, but it's highly possible. And then again, her car could have been moved. I'm just going to try to clear it up more. I'm going to try to watch that TikTok more. I'm going to clip it in as many places as possible to try and see if it could be the same spot. See, waiting for more info, and hopefully it'll be sooner than November. I hope so. I do too, Corrine. See, do you watch your chat once your live stream is over? I've dropped you many moves. Actually, I do my best to stay away from the comments. I will comment back. Eric watches the comments for me. And that way, I don't have to deal with any nonsense or anything. He just sweeps it out or leaves it up, But anyways, I will check those comments and I'll get back to you. Let's see, at a party of 300 plus, there is a highly likely chance law enforcement is related or have ties to people there. Exactly. Well, that's what we started out talking about. Yeah, their surnames are a lot in relation to the people that was at the party. That would be a conflict of interest. Yeah, there's so many conflicts. But you got to think, Placer County is not covering this case. Nevada County is. But Nevada County is just right by. And who's to say that they are not involved too? I mean, how did they not know what was going on all this time with Sheriff Moon? Yeah, we are. It's on both channels, yeah. Okay, waiting for more information. I already read that. But money moves, I will get back to you in the comments. I've noticed something potentially important on the sign. Okay, I want to hear this. I've noticed something potentially important on the sign at the bar set up at the party. They were selling weed per day. What? Like it was a dispensary involved, and that can be a big deal selling to minors. That's weird. That's so weird because I know out in that area, a lot of them, those dispensaries do, like they'll set up at parties and they'll give out free product. And I hate to bring this up, but going back to Ronnie and his statements about his cousins, I don't know if it's his cousins or if it's, I don't know. Who knows? But he did say that happens a lot out there. So that's a very good thing you noticed there. I saw something on it too, actually on Zap Girls, where they were saying it possibly said drinks $3 or free if you fight. That's pretty insane, Is that like where their boxing matches would come from? And we do have videos of the fight and stuff. Look at the middle of the sign. The way it's per day, like a dispensary has to follow per day limits. I don't know. It wouldn't be surprising to me. I'll go back and look at that. I need to write it down so I don't forget. Let's see. Wasn't there mushroom tea too? Jeez Louise. I would say there's probably a lot of different things. I know they kept saying, though, over and over, they wanted us to realize that there were drugs there that they don't normally have at their parties. So, re-evaluate banner at party. I wonder, I go back to this. we've had these photos for a very long time. Now, I started to share them before other people felt comfortable because other people were saying they weren't real and that they were fake. Turns out all those photos that we had, they really were from the party. The photos I showed with you to you guys early on, those were actually from the party. And the reason I was comfortable is because Justin pointed out to me that in the background of one of those photos, it showed the sanctuary on a sign. Well, Justin don't want to come on. He don't want the spotlight or anything. I've tried to get him to, but they're more than welcome. Justin, if you wanted to come up and talk with Paceless and us go over this, we can. Have a nice, calm, sensible debate if you would like. We can do that, or we can schedule that for later if you two would like to share your ideas and thoughts with me or with each other.
Regardless to their.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is interesting because Paceless thinks accident mostly, and then Justin and I, we see, the other side of things. It seems super sinister. Let's see, it's literally in the center of the sign. Thanks. Oh, well, absolutely. Thank you for bringing it up. I appreciate that because I hadn't noticed it before. This is how we learn things. This is how we notice things. Maybe, I'm not going to notice everything that someone else could notice. We all have different brains, different ideas, different thoughts, different views. And that's why it's so important to brainstorm. I can tell you 100 ways, but can't make you understand, he said. I'm sorry, Paceless. It's just that I can't take my finger off of what I've seen and the way I feel. And I'm afraid that if I were to even go down that route for even a moment, that it would make it easier. If all of us creators went down that route, that's what law enforcement wants, because it would make it so much easier for them to just claim it was an accident and cover every bit of this insanity up. That is why I am absolutely not willing, because I just see too much that tells me that how could that be an accident? How did she end up without her clothes on? How did she end up bound in the back by her seatbelts, put that way? Why was she supposedly, allegedly asking this tow truck driver, Nick, how to connect her actual belt to her seatbelts? I feel that statement was put out there because of some reason, some other reason. Okay, I'm not catching. Let's see. So tell me. I'm serious. Yeah. You two can come up, I'm going to put the link in the comments. That way you guys can come up if you would like. All right, hold on. Just remember to stay calm and talk nice and polite to one another if you decide to. Let's see. I really am asking, though. That is not 100%, though. That is all speculation. Actually, it isn't all speculation. Actually, it is not at all. We can prove that she was not wearing clothing. Look at the footage for yourself, and then listen to what Jared said himself over on 10 to Life. Look at the seatbelts in the back. There is plenty of evidence to point that this could not be an accident, but you never know, I guess. Welcome, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you? Justin, come up and talk with us too, if you would like.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like, it's a great point that you're making, but it's all based off speculation.
No, those are facts. Those are facts. Those two things right there.
When you looked at an unblurred photo, that's not a fact.
I'm telling you that Jared, okay, with AWP, they have made, like he has said, what she was wearing. One shoe. He didn't want to be vulgar in it. He didn't want to state it a way that would hurt the family. He tries to be super respectful. But that right there is your way of knowing that she was not wearing clothing. And I saw it with my own eyes. If you go back and look, you can tell. And he says it. Okay. Then look at the seatbelts. Okay. Nick was on the Grizzly True Crime. And I believe that she had mentioned something on one of these interviews. Somebody mentioned it to him. And he acted super strange and said that was all he could say. I'm telling you that it's been manipulated. You can tell. I'm not trying to be rude. I promise you I'm not. I respect your thoughts and opinions.
You have your opinion, and that's an opinion.
But those are two facts. I'm telling you that those are two facts. You can look at them with your own eyes.
It's what you're reading into it. Like if it was fact, then
how could she accidentally get back there with those seatbelts, like restricting her? How could she be restricted on accident? You can see the photos.
He didn't come out and say she was restricted.
You can see the photos, though.
You never drove down the road and see someone's seatbelt hanging out of the side of their door?
Yes, but this is not a case of
Doesn't
that.
mean
This
they're
was pulled out
tied
on
down
both
because the
sides.
seatbelt's hanging out.
This was
I
pulled out
mean,
on both sides.
there's a logical explanation.
What?
They were in and out of the back, going to the car all the time, probably opening up the trunk, because who wants to sit in a car, without the windows or something open? So, and you never seen a seatbelt where it doesn't
Well,
retract back?
yes. Yes. Okay.
I mean, come on. I mean, there's so many. I could go on for hours. But what I'm saying is,
Can you debunk
everybody
everything we've
feels like
seen?
everybody feels like they owe us something to explain every little detail, every little question everybody has. And some of the questions are just silliness, It's like
Right.
it has nothing to do with anything. And I
Calm down. It's okay. I promise. You don't have to
it's just I mean, I have no axe to grind in this. It
right.
doesn't
But
matter
you're
if it's an
passionate.
accident or not. I just want to know the truth. And I feel like
Exactly.
if you
What if
totally disregard one thing, as far as, like, in
welcome
this
up,
case,
Justin.
being in an accident, then you're not out to find what really happened to this little girl.
Right. Okay. I want to give Justin
You
a
can't
second
just
to speak
close
as
that
well.
out. You could say, I don't believe
Hang on
that.
just one moment. I'm going to let him speak real quick, and then you both can, go ahead, Justin. Unmute. I don't know if I can. Yeah, I can't do it for you on this end.
All right, hold on.
Okay.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, no, I'm up here. I want Tackless to give me the elevator pitch, man. But
You're a little bit like quiet. Like your mic's a little quiet and down. Like, you know what I'm saying?
well, I got my earbuds in, so
Okay.
you have to just deal with it. That's what I got.
I'm turning
all
it
right,
up.
wait, is it paceless or packless? What is it?
Paceless, I think.
It's pockless.
Pockless. Oh, okay.
All right. So go ahead, give me the elevator pitch, but you got to do me a favor. You got to assume that Nick, the tow truck the driver, is telling the truth. Give me the accident, assuming he's telling the truth.
Well, that's ridiculous. That, like I said,
Why?
you're adding something
Everybody
else into
from
the equation.
AWP has insinuated that they believe this man's story and that it's been verified.
Right.
That
They're full of crap.
verified.
I don't think they are, and I respect them like
So
highly.
you think that Doug and all these people from AWP are just full of crap?
Have you seen all their work, all the people they've helped, all the things they've done?
It's a cash grab. It's a viewer grab. I'm serious. I'm asking.
Yeah, I do.
That's what you think. So that's what you're going on record to say, that AWP made that part of the story up simply
They
to get
sensationalize that part of the story, is what I'm saying. And if you look at the video, there's no denying that. They insinuated everything. And
But he
they
also
could
said
say
that
to
there was
their blue in the face, they
90%
have.
more that is going to come out if I think they did that because they don't want to put a spotlight on certain people, and you can't fault them for that.
I think they were very respectful. I think they done it so that people couldn't get by with this.
Jagger or whoever it is, because I mean, let's face it, that's who everybody's thinking it is, right? Jagger or Nate or whoever. So if they have this long interview with him and his girlfriend and all this stuff that they don't want to put out because they don't want to put a spotlight on something unless something develops in the case, I think that in the back of their mind, they're thinking that the detectives are just going to come out November 1st, hope that 2 months just everybody forgets about it, and they come out and say, you know what, this is an accident.
Right. And I want to say something real quickly, too.
Right? The 24th or whatever, they arrest this kid for murder. He's pumping 15-year-old girls full of pills, right? She dies. A couple days later, they bang a car, of course, right, for 50,000 fentanyl pills. What was he pumping? Fentanyl. So he goes to jail, opens his mouth. So now they look great, right? They're getting drugs off the street. They're doing what cops do. So they wait a couple of months, and then they sweep it under the rug. And you honestly feel that this is an accident.
Do you think that AWP, with the reputation they have, all the good they've done, I mean, honestly, they have done a lot of good. They've brought so many families, so many answers and peace. I mean, Do you think they would risk their entire reputation, their entire everything they've built from the bottom up? They started out just by cleaning up the environment, for God's sake. Do you think they would risk all of that to lie
What are
about
they
this?
risking? What are they risking by saying this and making assumptions? They're not risking anything.
That would be
The tow truck
disgusting if
driver's
they've
not
made all
risking
this up now,
anything
wouldn't
either.
it? And it would
But the
cause them
tow-
to lose their entire everything they've built.
How would it lose? What are they going to lose?
This
By
look at this
stating
as
their
national
opinion?
case.
By stating
No.
their opinion?
No. If they were trying to point us in a certain direction just so that we would watch more of their stuff, buy more of their stuff, all this, kind of what people are saying, if that were the case, they would lose their following. They would lose all of that stuff. They're not doing this, I don't believe, for the cash grab, just like
Yeah,
a lot
but
of
you
other
can't say
people.
that. No. You can't say that because
Maybe
that's the problem
all
that
right,
everyone
so
doesn't realize is
maybe
that,
they are.
oh my
Maybe
God,
they are.
will you just let me say a statement real
Go
quick?
ahead.
The problem
Yeah,
is, just like with everything else on YouTube, is that 90% or more of the people think that this is foul play. So they're not going to lose any subscribers. They're going to lose me as a subscriber. Well, guess what? I'm not subscribed.
I know.
So they're
And
not
I've
going to
heard you
lose
say
anything.
that
They
a
don't have a
million
chance
times.
of losing
YouTube's not
anything.
that big. YouTube's
Because
just a
everyone on
small part.
YouTube in true crime is thinking, hey, they're right, they're correct, it's foul play, it's getting everybody views, all these channels are starting up, it's all a big thing, they're getting money, everybody's happy, and what there's no repercussions. The tow truck driver can have a video and all that stuff, and when it comes out, it was just a silver SUV with a blonde girl and another dude with his
Okay. All right.
SF hat on,
So
and
I
they
do
don't
that.
have to say anything because they said, oh, it looked like her. I
So
thought it
go
was
back.
her. It's his
Start over.
opinion. I
Start
mean,
from the
I
beginning.
don't know how to explain it any more like clearly for everyone.
Okay, well, let Justin make his
That's
statement
good.
real quick
You
as
got
well.
into- That's fine. You're not explaining anything. People understand when you speak. You understand? You don't have to make statements like, I don't know how I can explain it. We all understand what you're saying. And you feel it's an accident strongly. So you
No,
want to get your point across strongly. And you think that everybody's out here, this or that. But go back to the beginning. Can you honestly tell me that you're going to watch that interview with Sammy and those kids and tell me that they don't know something about the death of Kiely?
okay,
Or
let me
it's
let
just
me
all
explain
guilt?
my theory one more time so everyone can
I
understand
haven't
this.
heard it. So the one more time thing is it's extra. I haven't heard your theory.
Well, let's just say this
So
this
you
way.
can explain it to
He's
me.
not a friend. They're not friends. She didn't arrive to the party with Sammy. Sammy might not even know she was going. If you
We
think
don't know
about it,
that for sure that Sammy didn't ride
we
with her.
don't, but we
Okay,
don't know that
no,
she
let him
did
go. Let
either,
him go. Let him go.
right?
Yeah, go ahead.
So
Give me
just
the
listen.
elevator pitch. Give me the 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Just listen.
I'm
Seriously,
listening.
it'll all make sense, and it's just common sense stuff here.
Okay, go ahead.
She's not really her friend. So someone said you don't leave a friend and all this stuff. You're making assumptions of something that's not even there. You're misinterpreting the information. Sammy even said herself.
We just want
She's
your
like,
thoughts, not what you think we think.
okay. Anyways, she went to the party. Sammy's like, oh, as soon as I saw her come up, I'm like, oh, hey, yeah, and we hung out the whole time, right? She got her drunk. She did ask for a ride or whatever that crap was, or maybe not. And she's
Why
like,
would
hey,
she
I
say
found
that?
another ride.
If they
So
weren't friends, if they weren't any of that, why would Sammy come on there and say all that shit?
Right. Why would she connect herself so closely if this was just an accident?
Why the fuck would anybody do that? Anybody. Why would anybody put themselves as the last person to talk to this girl before she goes into the river? Put herself in her car, put herself in every single drink that she drank. Everything she drank, I drank. That's what the girl said. Every time she went back to the car, I went back to the car. She put herself everywhere that Kiely was during the party, right? This fucking huge party. So why, if they weren't friends, and Sammy doesn't feel guilty because, they weren't friends, so she was just like, hey, I saw Kiely, once or twice that night, and I mean, that was it. We weren't really friends. Doesn't that sound better than I was with her every second? We peed in the woods. I drank from her cup. I was in her car. I was there when she texted her mom. I told her I was getting another ride. And then literally not even 40 minutes later, she calls to ask for a ride, but I've already found another ride and I'm in the passenger seat. That doesn't sound odd to you? That sounds feasible to you.
if you're not a friend, it doesn't sound odd at all. It
Now,
sounds like someone saw
Rapopoulos,
someone that they
explain it
see
to
at a
us. We will be
party.
quiet and let you
Someone
speak.
found someone that they see at a party that they know from mutual friends and stuff. They were hanging out at the party, and she's like, forget this girl, she's drunk. She can handle it herself. She even said that. So she's like, she has no regard. She didn't come to the party with her. She's not responsible for her as a friend would. I mean, it all makes sense.
Doing it all
She
for
was like,
what?
hey, you know what? I'm finding my own ride home. This girl's too drunk. But supposedly she's 16 years old. She's smart enough. She'll figure it out. It just sounds like someone that doesn't really care that much about her. So yeah, if it was a friend, this is all red flags. It's all crazy. If she's not a friend, then it's not a red flag. It's not crazy. It's some girl. Girls hate girls, man. It's no doubt that she's like, hey, if she gets a wreck or she does something stupid, gets a DUI on the ride home, hey, that's on her. It's not on me.
Or do you think they set her up like to have an accident? Is that what you think?
She could have. Just think about that. Just think she didn't care. They didn't set her up. She was just there hanging out at the party like everyone else, getting drunk.
So
Sammy,
why does
God, will you let me finish the damn statement, dude?
Yeah, go ahead.
Why?
You're just why? If you let me
calm
finish
down,
it,
calm down,
whatever, dude. That's you're just like
let's just speak
me every time.
calmly.
So if she's not a friend,
you've been talking for days.
If she doesn't care about her, then she would say, hey, we partied. She's smart. She's a smart girl. She can figure it out. If not, it's not my problem. You don't think that people don't feel like that and people do that? You guys are making it seem like, and if you look at it,
we're not trying to make it seem anyway. I promise you.
Everyone's trying to make it seem like she's trying to say we were best friends. She's like, we were good friends, but she didn't come to the party with her. She didn't, like it wasn't that kind of friend. And to think that she wouldn't give a shit about someone. Look at everyone says Sammy acts like a bitch and
calm down. Now don't call her names like that, please, on my channel. I don't appreciate that.
Who said that about Sammy in Truckee? That Sammy.
I'm saying all the people on here that are thinking that it can never be an accident is what I'm saying.
I think that there's
you got to make your point.
You're telling me way
hang
better
on,
than police.
Hold on.
I don't know a fucking thing. Let's not get that confused. I don't know one thing about what happened in Truckee. I don't want you to think that I'm making a statement like I know what happened 3,000 miles away from Raleigh, North Carolina, where I live. I don't know any of these kids. Okay. I have no idea what went on in that party. But I'll tell you what I do know, that I'm 42 years old, and my entire life I have been around. I served 6 years in prison, and I have been around people my entire life that lie, cheat, and steal. And I can look at somebody and listen to somebody and tell when they're not being honest. And if Sammy, okay, I'm gonna say this. If Sammy, so what your theory is that Sammy's just doing it for attention, right? She's not very good friends with this girl, but she comes out the next day and she's like, I'm gonna take the lead on all this, and I'm gonna put myself next to this girl for 12 hours during this party or whatever because we weren't friends. That doesn't make sense to me. It may make sense to you, but it doesn't make sense to me that somebody would do that.
Okay, guys, listen, I appreciate you both calming down and being able to talk this out, because I've seen people saying that this don't end well normally. But I appreciate everyone's opinions, and it's important. Remember what we're in this for. Not what we don't, it doesn't matter if our theories is what is correct or whatever. That's not the point of this. The point of this is to try and keep law enforcement from being able to cover something up. It's the point of keeping things going so that her memory does not go away, if it doesn't fade away. Look at law enforcement, the things that's happened. Look at the people involved. To me, it seems one way. Everyone has a right to their opinions. However, jumping down someone's throat because they don't agree is not correct. And it seems as if that's happened on a lot of panels.
Well, I apologize. If I was jumping
not
down
you, Justin.
I'm very sorry.
You have not. No.
This girl, like, these people just left this. If it was an accident, that's fucking horrible. And somebody
no one's saying it's not horrible, dude.
Somebody should pay for it.
Absolutely.
But you're going off feelings, not facts.
But you are too, Paceless.
It's all emotional. No,
you are
not.
As well. You seem to be extremely passionate, and that's okay. But remember who we're talking about and why.
I'm going by what I've heard from interviews, and like this gentleman said, I have almost 50 years of life experiences and stuff
Right.
like that. I've never been to jail, but I do know people, and I can read people very well myself. But it's
Okay.
my opinion on it, and it's not. You can say that you're great at something. It doesn't mean you're right 100% of the
Well,
time.
no, absolutely not.
Absolutely
Here's
And
not.
if
one
you
other
look
thing I
at
want to
everything,
state real quick with just 1 second.
All right, go ahead.
It's more important. You guys have the harder job, Paceless. We have more proof that it's most likely not an accident. So the people who think it's an accident need to prove that it is. How do you have proof that it is? There is no proof.
Well, if you're going off the interviews, you got Sammy who said that she thinks it's foul play. You got Mags that said as soon as she showed up, she was out of there because shit was fucked up, right? You got Ronnie Jones who comes on and says there was a couple of guys running around slinging coke all around this party, right? You got AWP who says the tow truck driver and Doug and everybody involved in AWP thinks it's suspicious. So if we're going off the interviews, that's why I think it's suspicious. That's just where I'm forming my opinion.
Along with
So
photos.
you may look
Well,
at the
hang on.
interview and just say, okay, you form your opinion that way. I look at the interviews and I get something completely different out, and that's okay. That's
But by your
absolutely
guys'
okay.
thoughts, then Prosser County wasn't even lead on this. So you're saying the FBI is involved, the
Are the
CHP is
FBI
involved.
still involved?
Absolutely
Hawkless?
No,
not.
I'm saying
Not
they
a
are.
They're
They're
not.
all involved. They
Hawk-
even
No.
said they were involved up to that point. So
I think they bowed out. I'm pretty sure
Well-
this is now in Nevada County's hands. Who is associated with Prosser, with Truckee, with all that, with Pacer or whatever? I mean,
I don't
look
know
at
if
it. They're all involved, and they've all known
think
things that those
cops
people
are
have done, that
involved,
those
all
law
that.
enforcement agencies have done, and they did nothing about it back then. So why would they do anything about it now?
I think
yeah,
they
but
did do a
to
horrible job.
disregard any information that they're going to give on this case because of past discretions is ridiculous. Sure, you can question it and you can be like, "What's going on?" But to just totally disregard it and say that they're
Disregard
covering
what?
it
What am I
up,
totally
Do you
disregarding?
think, Cactus, do you think that the police have
you're saying because they
a
did
good
something in the
job?
past that they had to have done something
No.
nefarious
On
in the
this
future
case,
or
Eric,
now.
on this case, do you
Just
think
that.
that they've done a decent job?
That. One moment. You guys go
I
ahead.
didn't hear you, Data. Sorry.
On this case, right, on the from what you've seen, do you think that the police have done their job? Do you think that they've done a
No,
good
I don't
job?
think they have. I don't think cops really do a lot of work either. I think that over 90% of the cases wouldn't be solved unless a tip comes in from the public or there's other information.
Of course.
A lot of the times it needs to be gift wrapped and bowed to them. I'm not a cop supporter, man. I feel like they dropped the ball. They should have. Dude, the phone was last pinged. She was last reported at the party. Her car was never seen leaving the area. Yet they didn't go and search that lake 100%. Or if they did, I mean, they did. They dropped the ball. There's Keystone Cops, no doubt about it. But with all the other agencies that stepped in, it's just like I look at the most plausible answer. For everything else to have happened, there had to have been some nefarious thing going on or some other, premeditated. Oh,
That
she
wouldn't
was
be an
alive
accident, would it?
the next day, 12 hours after her phone pinged, and her phone was she never plugged it back in. She never did anything. We obviously see the charger there. You know what I mean? So like for her to be
Well,
around
we saw the
12
back.
hours later the next day, I just don't buy it, man.
After
I
you
just
give us
don't buy
after you
it.
give us sins, let each other because just
Okay, so
go ahead,
let's
Justin.
assume he's mistaken and it's not her. I'm sorry, Brittany. Go ahead.
No. I was
Yeah,
just saying,
let's
give
assume
each other
that.
chances to talk. I want to hear what both of you have to say.
No, let's
I mean, and so
assume.
does all of the viewers. They don't want to hear us talking over one another,
There's
guys.
got to be somebody else down there that wants to come up here.
No, I
So
mean, I
let's
appreciate
assume.
both of you.
Let's assume that that the tow truck driver is made a false identity, not false, but a misidentification, right? Then what?
There's only
Then
two people that
what
fit
you're
that.
basing it on, and everyone's saying it's the tow truck driver. You got to believe them. AWP believes them. But if
Actually,
there's nothing there's no repercussions for it. All this will
people are
go.
questioning Nick, the tow truck driver himself.
I know, but AWP is not going to have any repercussions because they'll say, we really thought he was credible. Look, we thought he was credible. He misidentified. It happens. So no one gets in trouble for anything. And
Let me
It
Let
just
me answer this real
carries the
quick
story
too. The
on.
sheriff is not Sheriff Moon anymore. However, I do believe that he is still an officer there, which is really crazy.
Nevada County, and it's a woman, Sheriff
Yeah,
Wu.
Shannon. Yeah,
Is
Shannon
a
Moon.
man, and that's Placer County.
There's just no repercussions, is what I'm saying, for any of this, because it could just be, oops,
Well, I think
it was
that you're going to be
misidentified.
right
Sure, it's a
about
great
that.
story.
I think that they're going to come out November 1st, and they're going to call it an accident.
Right. Paceless, thank you for coming on and sharing your thoughts.
No problem.
I've never spoke with Justin on here about this. I'm gonna speak with him quickly. I appreciate you bringing up this one more time. I really do, since you do feel passionately about it, and it is important that we explore all possibilities. And since I don't personally see it that way, I appreciate you bringing that to to my platform. My fear is that, well, my fears. We've spoke about it, but I appreciate you, and I don't want it to seem as if we do
I
not.
enjoy talking
I just want to say
I'm
one
sorry
thing.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry if I jumped down your throat.
I just want to say one thing. I think people are misinterpreting what I'm doing and what I'm saying. At this point, I feel like anyone that disregards accident is the problem that I'm having.
I understand,
Leave it open.
and I appreciate it.
Leave it
I
open.
see you going from panel to panel, putting your thoughts out there,
Leave it open. Don't close it off. Is all I'm saying. At least have 1% accident in your mind, so you're not closing it off.
Will
and
you
that
do
you're,
the same
you're,
for foul play?
Yeah, will you do the same for us?
No, I do. If you hear anytime I'm on a panel, I feel it's 50% accident and 50% these 1,000,001 other theories.
That's fine.
I want you to do me a favor. The next time you come on, I want you to try and present your one accident. You think, explain how you think it went down, if you can. The next time we do this.
Oh no, I would love to do that.
All right.
I've done that.
And I'll let you speak, and we'll not interrupt you.
No, it sounds good. Like I said, she's not a friend. They weren't friends, and everyone's like, yeah, it looks bad if you were a friend. It looks bad if you were this. It looks bad if you were this. But if you take all that out of the equation, where she wasn't a friend, she's a mean girl. I mean, some people are even saying that. You would understand that that's normal. That's normal. It's not like let's pump her up with drugs and alcohol and send her on her way, but she consumed it herself, or
possibly, allegedly,
something, and she just didn't care about her because she's not a true friend. And everyone's caught up on that, just like they're caught up on floating out into the back. Well, no one's saying that the car went all the way down in the water and she was in the front seat, and then miraculously she floated all the way into the back. But if she was trying to get out of the car at the time, then there's a possibility that she could have ended up in the back. So, that's the people are taking bits and parts of it and not understanding the full concept.
I understand, and I appreciate you again. I really do.
I just don't want you to shut off accident is all.
Well, I appreciate that.
My problem.
I appreciate it. I really do, and I will try to even go down my own route of how I could explain this that way. I don't feel that it could be, but I will do my best, to come up with a scenario that I think could fit that. Okay, for her, not for you necessarily.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
for her.
Why not dot all your I's and cross your T's?
Right.
Not be like one lane, single-minded at
one
thing.
I appreciate you again. I'll have another live in a little bit. I'm going to give it some time and try to learn some more before I do another live. And I would have you.
Come back. I'd like to talk to you again.
Yeah. And all right. Thank you for coming on, Paukless.
No problem. Bye.
Bye. All right, Justin. So I want to give you a chance. I want you to talk with me since I finally got you up here. And I just want to make it known that Justin is not one who likes to be in the spotlight or anything. He's super smart and intelligent. I don't want to go into what he does or anything, but he's super great. So
absolutely none of those things.
Yes, you are. Give yourself credit.
I don't. But I'll answer any questions that you have.
All right. So I think that the both of us have looked at so many things, some things that we can't even bring to light because it's not our place to do so. And I think we're really afraid of the whole accident thing because it seems that that's the route they want to take. And like I stated a moment ago, I believe that the accident needs to be explained because I've not had anybody trying to show me that, there is no explanation for it at this point since we've learned what we've learned. In the beginning, people were saying it and it kind of seemed like it could be possible, but the more and more we've learned, I feel that it's drifted away from that. And I do know there's a lot of speculation involved around it, but a lot of the key facts, pictures, photos, statements from people who were there that would know the answers, they all point to not an accident. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
I don't think it was an accident at all. Even if the tow truck driver is wrong or the maintenance man, even if he's wrong and he didn't see Kiely and he didn't see anybody in that vehicle, was it? I do not believe that vehicle ended up where it was, when it was, with her where she was, just by happenstance, chance. It just didn't happen that way. And that's just my opinion, though. There's
Right.
way too much just garbage with this.
It seems like they're putting distractions in front of us on purpose.
And that's what it feels like. It feels like every time you go down one road, right, you find something and you get all this information and you put it in a file, and then you wind up right back where you started. It's frustrating, but it's what we do, right? We just keep digging and digging and digging and digging and digging and try to verify as much as we can and hope.
So Wayne Wu is still the sheriff in Placer County?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wayne Wu is the sheriff in Placer.
I thought he was replaced.
No, in 2016, he had a little dust up, and he never got charged or anything, but there was an underage girl. He had some type of, I don't know what type of relationship with her while she was on a ride along, but she signed the form saying she was 18, so the DA didn't press charges. That's the story I got, at least the articles that I read on him.
Right.
And
See, I was under the understanding they had replaced him because of all of his stuff.
Nevada County. She's Nevada County.
Yeah. Who is also not just the sheriff, but she is like the jail administrator. And then also she is the coroner.
Yeah, but that's common. California's 48 counties in California. The sheriff also doubles as the coroner.
Yeah. There was a vote last year set to split those two, roles up. And I guess it didn't go through because, well, we still have the same outcome.
Carol,
I did find that.
Yeah. So
here it says, yes, Shanann Moon is the Nevada County Sheriff. And then I guess it's crazy as it is, Wayne Wu is still the Placer County Sheriff. And that's alarming. It tells you a lot of why Nevada County is probably handling this. But does Nevada County know all of the awful things that go on over in the Placer County Sheriff's Department? How could they not know?
They have to. I imagine Sacramento to Reno all knows what the other is doing.
Yeah, so that tells me that I would imagine there's a lot of really dirty shit going on in all of these agencies. And I cannot find any trust in my heart to trust what they say.
I just sent you a thing, actually. I have a friend that lives in Sacramento, and she said that she would not be surprised one bit if there's a whole bunch of dirty cover-up shit going on up there. But that's just...
From day one of this case, even when Kiely was missing, it was distraction. Look over here, not over here. All eyes was being drawn away from the Prosser County, not Prosser County, but the Prosser family campground and the lake, the reservoir.
And I don't know if it's me, but I can't find, a kid goes missing, right? You see all these news clippings of 100 people in a field walking arm in arm, right? And then you got all these videos of like Ronnie Jones going to try to join the search and all this stuff. And it seems like every time you see anything, everybody's just standing around an RV. There's very little footage of people actually searching, and that might just be me, but maybe there is a lot, and I just don't know.
Right.
It's odd.
Did you all see the interviews that were done yesterday from the different AWP members on the different channels?
Mm.
There was one on Grizzly True Crime, and like I was saying, that was with Nick and that Check It TV guy.
The last interview I saw with Nick was Duty Wrong or something.
You need to check out the Grizzly True Crime one. I'm telling you, it's just extremely odd. Yeah. And I would like to have everyone else's opinions on it.
He's the LeKay, right? I like it a lot.
It was odd, but Justin, I thank you for coming up. Do you want to make any other points or anything?
No, not at all. Absolutely not.
All right. I appreciate you very much. You already know this. And is there anything you'd like to tell the people before we jump down?
No, I just thank you everybody and I'm sorry if I bullshit out
You didn't do anything wrong, and neither did Apocalypse. It's just that we're all passionate, and that's why I was just trying. I didn't mean anything towards any one person. I just wanted you to have a chance to speak as well, because your volume's down really low, and that made it easy for him to, you know what I'm saying, without realizing it.
Yeah, I got my earbuds in, but that's it. So
right.
But
so I didn't mean to be like a favoritism or nothing. I wanted you both to be able to speak. Despite my own personal thoughts and stuff. But I do appreciate you coming up finally, and I hope you do it more often.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Well, I'm going to get ready and close things down, read a few comments, and hopefully the next time that we come back to meet, there'll be more information that can point us somewhere in some single direction. That's what I'm really hoping for Kiely.
It would be nice to have some type of solid path that leads to some type of solid fact.
Right.
Absolutely. All right, you're going to have to kick me off here, though, because I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, we thank you for coming up, both you and Parkless.
Yep,
Sending all my love to everyone. Okay. Toodles. All right, you guys. So I appreciate everyone that brings their thoughts out. I mean, it's important because one person could have the key answer, and it may be speculation, it may be, theories, but they're all important. Oh gosh. Well, you're welcome, Parkless. I do appreciate you. All sides of this are important. It could very well be something different. I don't. If it is an accident, it's a reckless accident. There was involvement that was negative, in my opinion. I'm trying here because I don't want to be a one-minded, straight lane person on this. Why does this upset him so much? This case is so there's so many emotions involved in it. This little girl has been said that she was fake. People have said that. Just so many things have been said and accusations made towards it that I believe it's caused us all to be so intertwined in it. And, honestly, it's a good thing that it's got us all so involved because it does make it harder for whoever done this to get away with it. I don't think that any of us will just sit back and allow it to happen. And I am going to cover Wayne Wu. I am going to cover the Placer County Sheriff's Department. Because of who I am in my life, there are things that I try to be careful with because I have learned just how nasty the internet, especially YouTube, can be, how the creators that are worried about money can act and behave. And it's just, you have to be careful, and it's a shame, but this is the world that we live in, right? This is the world that we live in right now. This is the world that Kiely was living in, and anything is possible almost. I just want to make sure that her memory goes on. I want to make sure that it is protected, and I want to make sure that her case is fully examined in every way, shape, or form. I want to make sure that that is done. No matter what the outcome is from that, as long as there's evidence to back every single thing up, that's what matters. That's what matters. And I personally would feel much more comfortable if the FBI would continue to have involvement in this case to ensure that there are no odd things going on behind the scenes that we cannot see. The fact, I'm going to read a few of your comments real quickly before we close down. I've got to go to a birthday party. Always about the money, says Paukless. In some cases, it is, yeah. Let's see. The fact Kiely's remains were found in the trunk area, but most importantly, found in a fetal position. If accidental drowning, her body would, yeah. You all know how I feel about this, and all these things are so important. And it kills me. I'm so caught up on the whole seatbelt connecting thing. My mind just keeps going back there. I just don't understand. I live in a rural area, and I can't imagine driving drunk 35 minutes away. That's a good thing to point out. There are some people that would, but I just don't see it. I also agree with you about the footage. All it would prove is that it was two people. Wouldn't prove anything else, says this person. I'm trying to find Steve. Oh, thank you, Justin. I love you, and I appreciate everything you do, as well as Paukless, as well as everyone that showed up today.
You need to put this up.
What? Or is there something new? Just one moment. Oh, guys, so it shows here that 40, this is insane, but literally like it's split down the middle. People who are subscribed and people who aren't that are tuning in. If you wouldn't mind just to subscribe. This channel is not monetized. I do have another channel that will be one day, and I most likely will not be covering this case on that channel once it is. But if you would just subscribe to this channel and pop a like on the video so that more people can view it, I would greatly appreciate it. But again, just keep in mind what we all are in this for. We don't need to fight and go on. There's no reason for that. And I'm sure Kiely wouldn't want us all be fighting. She'd want us to try and figure out what happened to her. Keep that your main goal, and just accept the people around you and try to be kind. That's all I'm saying, because she seemed to be such a kind, sweet-hearted person. And her family, they raised her right. So I love you guys. If you have any thoughts, opinions, anything you need to send to me, that email, the safe encrypted email, is on yesterday's live. Feel more than free to send it there, and I will go over it and review it. But I love you guys very much. Remember, hashtag justice for Kiely, hashtag justice for Kiely Rodni. I love you guys. Toodles.